Hey, I'm Lance Calvert. Welcome to the Retail Fix It podcast. Retail Fix It is a national facility maintenance management company. So we perform repairs all over the country for major retailers and any other kind of multi-location commercial facility owner. So if you own 5 stores, 100 stores, 500 or 5,000 stores, or not even stores, sometimes it's like a medical practice or all different types of things. As long as it's commercial and multi-location, we are a single source for you bringing all of your maintenance, all your repairs for projects, preventive maintenance, and any trade of repair on reactive maintenance, rollouts, expansions, remodels, all that stuff. You bring it under one roof with Retail Fix It. We centralize it. We lower the cost. We create metrics that give you deliverables on budgets, and you can kind of analyze those. And so there's all sorts of really cool things that bring it under one roof. Your accounting department loves it and that kind of thing. And it's just been a proven process. We've been in business for over 25 years. I'm the president of the company. I'm still operating it and working with the team. Love it. But today we're going to talk about something that everybody can identify with, and we don't like it, but it's one of the most valuable things, and that's mistakes. So there's so many areas in this business to make mistakes, from a client level, vendor level, and in the middle as a nationwide service provider for multi-location facility owners. There's just a lot of moving parts. There's a lot of we have account managers and we have project managers. Those are the main key service side product that we have, if you will. Those are the people in the company that are the ones touching the jobs. They're communicating with the customers. They're the ones communicating with the service partners of Retail Fix It in the field. They're the ones that are making decisions that cost money, save money. They're the ones making decisions on who the provider is, the best choice provider, when they're allotted approvals to go do things. There's a lot of power for success and failure, potential failure. Obviously, we want to mitigate that, but those aren't the only places, but those are places of vulnerability that impact everybody involved. We all make mistakes, and it's just really important to know how to capitalize on that, gain personally from it, what can really supernaturally almost be done about it that can propel you, and how to learn from it and move on and that kind of thing. So, I think of projects really when I think of mistakes, because in this industry, when customers start to award a national facility management company like Retail Fix It projects, they've entrusted us to larger projects, bigger dollar jobs, and there is such a vulnerability at that state. I've told my project managers many times that these jobs will not go right on their own. They will go wrong if you don't enforce them to go right. So a project manager has got to know that they are a general in that. They've got to be really proactive, but you're never going to avoid never making a mistake. There's going to be a time when you chose the wrong vendor. There's going to be a time when that vendor, that maybe he's the right vendor, but he's underperforming. And so the mistake's on him, but it's tiered up to the level of a project manager deciphering that, early detection of that, and mitigating that and minimizing the results of it that really matters. In this industry, when you make a mistake, you have to discern what's going on quick, and then you have to make the adjustments. And sometimes you'll get panic from customers or, leaders, that are kind of maybe giving you more of a threat or a highlight of your mistake or somebody else's mistake than is really going on. And you have to be able to stomach that panic from others, shift on your feet to bring resolution in the moment. It's not like you can sit there and ponder on it. There's the show must go on kind of thing, because you're in the midst of a project in this example I'm given. So you have to have real grit and poise, and you have to have confidence, because there's people that are going to be telling you how bad what it is that's going on is, and you have to be trying to fix it while people are breathing that down your neck at the same time. It's a lot of pressure. So it's not for the faint of heart to be a project manager. And really, in a lot of senses, an account manager in this industry. All those are growth opportunities, and it's really amazing what can happen from it. Mistakes are hidden gems. You never really make a lot of progress or learning in your life from getting it right. Getting it right's awesome, and we should a lot, but you're going to make mistakes. And I think it's important to find out how to capitalize on a mistake, because there's mistakes that have been made in my business, this company, that have absolutely propelled this company into a wildly successful another tier level because of the mistake. There was a time in this company when we were a hybrid. I started out as a construction worker, and I was in a truck riding around doing service calls with my own two hands in Metro Atlanta. And then I had some techs in the field and grew a team. And then we were a hybrid. We had techs in the field in Metro Atlanta, but we had subcontractors all over the country. And so the vision was always to go completely national and all subcontracted, and bringing it under subcontracted service partners and not having any in-house techs anymore. But honestly, I was scared to do it. I was like, I didn't know how to make that jump, but I knew that was the dream. I knew it was the vision. I knew it was what was supposed to happen. I knew it was my destiny, but I didn't know how to have the courage to get rid of all the in-house technicians and get over to the outsourced service partner level of things. I guess you could say I was scared to do that. Because then my office account managers, they couldn't just hand a work order over to a in-house tech. They had to literally find somebody to go to do that job, and we had to have enough service partners and the right ones to go do them. Well, I'm going to tell you a story that got us over that finish line and out of that hybrid state and into being an all outsourcing company without any in-house techs. We had a tech one time. He was a good guy, but on Friday afternoon, all the techs had come to the office at the end of the day, and they turned in their completed jobs. And this one tech didn't show up. And we were like, well, I guess he just took the van to the house, and we'll see him on Monday. So later on that day, my brother, Andy Calvert, was working for me, and he had the GPS app. So, this is at 9:00 at night at this point. I'm at home in bed. And Andy calls me and says, Andrew's van is at a standstill on 575. And I'm like, what? He says, I'm driving up there. Well, my next phone call is from Cobb County Police Department in Marietta, where this vehicle is. The officer's like, Mr. Calvert, is this your vehicle? Is this Andrew, your employee? And I said, yes, sir, he is. And he said, well, he's going to be going to jail tonight, and your van is going to be towed unless you can come get it. And I said, just tow it, whatever. And I'm like, whoa, what's happening? So the next morning, I drive down and get my technician out of jail and take him to breakfast. And I'm like, what is going on? Well, he had gone home after work. This is like 15 years ago. He had gone home, and then he went and filled up his tank with gas. And then he goes to pull out of the gas station and T-bones a lady, and then runs from the scene of the accident. And he's trekking up 575 on a flat tire because the fender well is in the tire and cut a hole in the tire, and he's running up 575 on a flat tire. I have no idea, but obviously he didn't have a job anymore. I felt sorry for him. I don't know why he made such a stupid mistake, but I wanted to know if this lady was okay. We found out she was fine. I was scared to death. I thought I was never going to have commercial automotive insurance again. I didn't know what to do. I was sort of panicking because, this is a bad situation. I didn't know if this lady was dead or alive at first. It was a devastating blow. I mean, in business, you have little troubles. Every week there's trouble if you're a business owner, and you're always in the business of minimizing and keeping everybody cool and putting out fires. That's always happening. Well, you're always kind of waiting for this big victory because there's always problems. You're waiting for the really smooth week or some big awesome thing to happen. And then when in the midst of trouble, this huge trouble comes instead of the victory, it can get you in a spot mentally, And so I was just devastated, because I'm always trying to talk these in-house technicians up and into being more responsible and things. And now here he is completely tanking like a villain, running from the police. It is embarrassing. I thought, what do I do from this point? I don't even know how to move on. It was kind of that give up feeling, like I don't know how to give up, but I mean, it was that feeling where it's like, okay, what is happening right now? I'm telling him, you can't work for me anymore. And how can I help you in your life? Trying to just mentor the kid out of this situation. And so I've got the rest of the weekend to process this. And after praying through it and getting over to Monday morning, I was like, something's got to change. I can't do this anymore. I can't, just coach these people and watch them destroy things or whatever. I walk into my office and I said, company-wide meeting, and I took every single member of the company in the conference room. All the account managers are sitting there. And I looked at him and I said, I'm selling every vehicle. I'm emptying the warehouse of all the materials and tools that we store. I'm cutting up all the credit cards for the technicians. All the gas cards are going in the trash can. I'm completely through with these in-house techs. We're going to a national facility management company today. I didn't know if my staff was going to stand up and walk out the building and get in their cars and drive home, or if they were going to go sit at their desks and take the marching orders and run with them. Well, thankfully they went and sat at their desk and they got those jobs out. And that's how we were birthed into a nationwide facility management company, which again, that was always the goal. That was always the dream. Didn't know how to kind of shift over to that. But this huge mistake that this other person, it wasn't my mistake, but that this other person made caused me to have so much internal pressure. And it created a confidence in me that said, look, I'd rather take the risk and move over into the dream than continue to go down this road. I'm not willing for another day to go down this road the same. And so what looked like a absolute no-win situation for me, because again, I don't know if this lady that got hit by the van is about to sue me for being paralyzed at this point. I hadn't heard from her yet. A lot of things are still unknown, and I'm over here dealing with this. It was a good kid. I don't know. It was a disastrous mistake, terrible choices that he made. The story is that pressure from that mistake, that failure, that big cataclysmic problem was one of the most monumental, positive things that ever happened in my life. And it pressured me into having the courage to go forward and begin the journey of truly being a nationwide facility management company. So if you're going through something, whether it's your own mistakes or whether it's a mistake that somebody else made, find out where the diamond is in that, where the blessing is in it, because it's in there. And it's applying pressure to your life for something really cool to happen. Learning from mistakes, absolutely. Applying what you learned, 100%. There's a proverb that says, forgetting those things which are behind me and pressing onward to the upward call of God in Christ Jesus. And that's really what it's about. Don't mull over your mistakes and get yourself in a ditch. The way to get yourself in a ditch about making mistakes is to be focused on yourself. When you make a mistake, you got to start working on the resolution of it and how you can solve it, mitigate it, fix it, and move on from it. You'll never grow if you don't take risks in your life. The more risks you take, the more mistakes you're going to make. But I'd rather make a mistake through risk taking than play it safe and get nowhere in life. So take risks, make mistakes, but don't take yourself too seriously in the mistakes. Don't be too hard on the others that made the mistakes. Be willing to listen, get advice from people, learn from the mistakes, but look for the blessing in it, because literally We serve a God that's good enough. And some of the biggest blessings in your life will definitely come from disasters and calamity. So keep yourself out of the focus on self, focus on the goal, fix the problem, learn, move, keep moving. Don't stove up and solve what the problem is, but let that pressure that comes on you from that mistake, whether it's your mistake or the mistakes of others, let that pressure, purge you to a place of desperation where you can hear more clearly from God and find out what is supposed to be transforming in your life from it. Because the transformation that's needed for you to go to the next level in your life is in the pressure that comes from problems that happen in your life. I can tell you that you're not going to learn very much at all from getting it right all the time, but you're going to learn a tremendous amount in the mistakes and from the pressure of those. So look, your soul knows when you're playing it safe and not getting anywhere because you're dry. The well is dry. You're thirsty for adventure. You're thirsty for change. You're desiring something exciting to happen. You know you were born for such a time as this. You know you were born for more than what you're experiencing. Those pressures alone should cause you to seek it out and figure out what it is that you need to do to make the changes that need to happen in order to go to that next level, because we all thrive in the understanding that we're valuable. We have an internal instinct that there's a bigger value in us than money or a bigger value system. We're put here for a unique reason and we have something to contribute, and it's noble and it's monumental. And you don't feel that way every day. You don't understand why you have this internal emptiness that the day isn't really satisfying you in. And so there's a draw on your spirit all the time. There's a draw, a continual draw in you that says, man, I know that this isn't it. Or maybe this is it. I'm not listening to the responses of what needs to happen to go to that next place. And that's where trouble is used, in your life to pressure you into forcing you to make those adjustments. I'll tell you another one real quick that was another huge, wonderful impact for our business, but it was a problem that we can all relate to: COVID. I'd been developing the software and getting the integrity of the software to a place where we were fully cloud based and didn't have to rely on QuickBooks anymore for probably 5 years when COVID hit. Well, COVID hits and we're all like staring at each other going, should we even be in the, that early stage that we were all in? You guys remember where you're like, I don't even know if I should be in the office with y'all. They're telling us that we're a danger to each other. It was kind of weird. And so, at some point as leaders, we had to say, go home, everybody take your computers and go home. So we take our office staff and we have them pack their computers up from their workstations at their office and send them home. I'm sure a bunch of you guys can relate. So they all go home, set up their workstations at home, and the technology was ready. Of course, we had to polish some things up or whatever, but we're kind of letting the dust settle, finding out now COVID, it gets extended, right? It becomes a worse issue than we realized. Everybody's staying home. We literally developed the business from home environment structure because of COVID, and we never went back to the office. I ended up leasing the office out to another company, and we're still working from home, and we have a better working staff relationship, better communication, better systems, and the obvious perks of the team not having to travel and all these different things. It was definitely destiny for our company to get over into giving the opportunities for leadership, for the team to be in their own environment at home and taking advantage of the technology that was ready for us to be able to do this. And that has, benefited a lot of the team, including myself, and in the co-labor of business and being prepared to get your children off the bus or whatever the case may be. Just be available for regular life stuff and the interminglings of life and work. So the trouble that came from COVID drove us home, and it was the second most monumental improvement in our company came from that problem. So perplexity is one of the most difficult things when you just don't know why things are happening, what to do about them, how to solve them, and why does it keep happening or it's getting worse. But those pressures are hidden gems in your life, and they're put in your life not even by mistake. It's not like God forgot about you or doesn't remember you or you did something wrong. We always go to these negative, weird areas when bad things are happening, but that's not what it is. What it is these pressures are to drive you up. There's a verse that says, when the enemy comes like a flood, the Lord raises up a standard. So it pressures you. And if you seek God, you're going to go be squeezed upward and you're going to be at a higher standard. You're going to be more mature. You're going to have more blessings. You have more outcomes that are preparing you for the destiny that was always set before you. So listen, I want everybody who's listening to like and share and subscribe. That helps us get it out there. We love doing this business together as a team, but we want to create community in the podcast world. And we want facility managers, customers, national facility owners, nationwide facility owners, retailers, restaurant owners, medical, dental, all sorts of industries that we work for. We want you guys to be on the podcast as a subscriber. So subscribe to this, but anybody hearing this, we hire service providers and onboard service providers on our website. And there's a registration process where we're looking for talent in any trade in construction. If you share this with any of your friends who are service providers in any construction trade, they can register at retailfixit.com, become a service provider for us. We're just looking for excellence and we're looking for consistency. We're wanting to transform and reform in the way national facility management is perceived to the client realm, to the vendor realm, because there's stigmas and stuff, that the ways of the past that need to die, and we need to all know that every party can really win big. That's what I'm trying to say. And that's what Retail Fix It's doing to this industry, is creating an environment of trust, reestablish trust from customer levels and from service provider levels. There's a big trust problem between service providers and nationwide facility maintenance companies because of past, maybe non-payment issues or different kind of things like that. We are changing all that, and we're creating a new future for this industry. And we want to impact the realm of national facility maintenance in a positive way, where the customers know they've got that partner where the jobs are getting done. There's integrity wrapped around it, and it's not costing them more than if they hired the service provider themselves. It's really maybe costing less in a lot of situations because of the way our systems handle that for us. But on the vendor side, the service partners that we have, one of our major and maybe the major fundamental ways that we stand apart and that we've developed the ideal of this business on is taking outstanding service partners, service providers in various trades across the country, sourcing them, onboarding them, and giving proper treatment to the right service providers, to empowering them and making their job easy, and in a trust realm of early payment and being able to hear them and listen, but making the system easy for them. They're not reluctant or begrudging to work, for our company, but rather the opposite. They're excited, empowered by it, and feel that. They hear that, but they also see that we're delivering an opportunity for that. And so what that does is that creates service providers who want to work for us, and that streams in lower cost from them because they're not giving us like grudge costs because of hard systems and mistreatment and stuff. And that's a real thing. So you can tie it into as our main focus, because that's contingent upon really good systems. It's contingent upon our attitudes towards people and our consistent heart towards people and how to serve in that way. And so it's pretty monumental part of our business model. So if you can do projects and small repairs for multi-location facility owners with high quality, consistently, with low cost or reasonable cost, that's all they're looking for. And they'll keep you, and they're keeping us, and we're keeping them, and we communicate that, and we're enjoying the consistency in that. And that's how we do it. So God bless you, and thank you for listening to the Retail Fix It podcast.